This is because you left them with a great big black hole.
So this is a complete myth, this £22 billion black hole, Kay. About half of it, in fact, is the conscious choice that the Labour government took to bring in these pay increases, 22% for junior doctors over 2 years, 14% for train drivers, above inflationary increases elsewhere. And what we're seeing here with the winter fuel payment is a conscious choice that the government took to increase wages without any strings attached for its trade union paymasters, at the same time as saving money on the backs of millions of vulnerable and poor pensioners.
First thing is first, get rid of Keir Starmer, Rachel Reid, another woman, deputy leader, whatever her name is. They are going to make things worse. They have no clue whatsoever. Both the women, I doubt if they can even boil an egg, let alone run the country. And Keir Starmer is a barrister that lies and twists situations to win. Here is the thing about barristers. They know the person is guilty, whether it's a murderer or rapist or child molester, but they still try to defend them and lie through their teeth to get the guilty off the hook, all for money. And this is what Keir Starmer is doing and done. Lied before the election and lying now. And what about his party getting backhanders from the union to support the campaign in election? How does he pay the support back? He gives them a huge pay rise.
He has chosen to take the winter fuel allowance away from low-income pensioners and give that money to certain unionised workforces in inflation-busting pay rises. So can I just ask the Prime Minister, why did he choose train drivers over Britain's vulnerable pensioners?
Mr. Speaker, this government was elected to clear up the mess left by the party opposition and to bring about the change that the country desperately needs. Our first job was to audit the books, and what we found was a £22 billion black hole.
What is the word for that? Favour for a favour or corruption? Another problem with politicians is simple. They tell you what you want to hear. Most of them are master liars, crafting stories, manipulating truths. This supposed 22 billion shortfall is not new. It's just the latest tactic to scare the public. When they run out of excuses, they pull this rabbit out of the hat. They take Keir Starmer. He's a barrister, a professional in twisting words to fit his narrative. When money is the issue, he talks debt. If it's immigration, he shifts the blame to Conservatives, highlighting their failure while pretending Labour is faultless. It's never their incompetence, never their responsibility. Always scapegoat, always someone else's problem. But let's face it, this 22 billion deficit is just another excuse to attack the previous government. The real question is, what's Starmer going to do that's different? Nothing. He's just going to blame Conservatives while he pretends he's for people. He's still acting like a barrister, punishing British citizens, dictating his terms. Let's break this down. Much of this shortfall is linked to illegal immigration and foreign aid. Have you ever asked yourself, how much are we spending to house illegal immigrants? How much does it cost to look after them? They're already begun starting with our freedom of speech. Just recently, they announced the release of 1,200 prisoners to make space for more. Here is the real kicker. Why are so many of these illegal immigrants young men and single? Sure, they're fleeing the war, but where are they going to live? Who's going to employ them when they have no skills, no language, no qualification? How are they going to communicate? And even if they do get a job, how are they supposed to be reliable in a country where 8 months of the year are cold and wet? Where they come from is a hot climate. And what about healthcare? We're already stretched thin with a waiting list for hospitals, doctors, dentists. These new arrivals are only going to push British citizens further down the queue. It's already a slap in the face when the government punishes its own citizens. But now they expect us to carry this burden too. This 22 billion shortfall is just a smokescreen, a cover for Labour to push their agenda, to tighten the grip on power and lay the law and the groundwork for more authoritarian control. But here's the chilling part. Who are these new prisoners going to be? Maybe not just criminals, but anyone who dares to speak out against Starmer's Labour Party. Imagine this. A rapist, a burglar, or a violent offender walks free. But if you criticise Labour, you're the one who fills their cell. Like I said, this 22 billion is all smoke and mirrors. They could recover that money in a year without cutting winter fuel allowance or hiking up fuel prices. But instead, they want to keep you distracted, terrified, so you don't see what's really happening. They're just in it to line their pockets while they can. After all, they only got 4 years to do so. Have you noticed there's no poor politician? And end of his 4 years term, the Prime Minister is a multimillionaire? Have you noticed that? It's all from your money, taxpayers' money.